to Unity Church on the Mountain, and we are live streaming on Facebook. So for those of you out there on Facebook, good morning. We're glad to have you here. Please, let's go.
Okay, if everybody can stand up.
Welcome to Unity Church on the Mountain. For all of you are here that are visiting us in person, thank you for coming. Please come again. And for those of you online, again, welcome, and please join us here in person if you can.
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple of words.
Okay.
Unity Church on the Mountain is applying for a technology grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries called the Ida Bowles Grant. And they kind of had this idea that we're going to give a little bit more than we're given, and that they'll give us quite a bit to help us to be able to live stream better and bring this message out into the world. So what I'm coming up here today to do is to ask you if you could reach in a little bit deeper and perhaps specify an amount greater than you would normally give to the Ida Bowles Grant or just technology grant. And another way that you have an opportunity to help is to volunteer. You see, we have greeters who greet you when you come in the door. And we want something similar to that online. So we're asking for volunteers to be live stream greeters. And that goes for you even if you can't join us here in person, if you're at home. And that's why I wanted to do this during this segment of the service instead of the announcements. Because if you're at home in your PJs, we won't know it. And you can still get online and greet the others and engage with the folks who are joining the service on a live stream. So volunteers from within the congregation who are here currently, or if you're at home enjoying the service with your cup of coffee, we just invite you to take advantage of this opportunity to help spread the message of truth in our community and in the world. So thank you very much.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Barry. Thank you so much for being on the keyboards, and our song leader, Debbie Priest, here today. It is a beautiful day in my consciousness, and I say namaste to all of you. And before we get started, our, I always like to say sermon today is going to be by our own Reverend Carol Landry. And just to give you a little bit about her, and I'm not going to talk professionally, okay? I'm going to talk, well, a little bit. She's an artist. She was our former minister, my confidant, my friend, a true representation of all the things that unity means. She is my living example. So I can't wait for her to talk to us about what is prayer anyway. So keep in your seats now, okay? It's going to be exciting. Yeah. Next song. And I invite you to stand.
Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together in love.
And now, if you would, please say our opening statement with me. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. And now we come to the lighting of the Christ candle. I've took the liberty of lighting it before the service got started. And what I'd like to say to you is that Christ light represents the divine within each and every one of us. And I always like to say, this is my favorite part of the service, recognizing the light in each one of you here today, and recognizing the light of the folks in the world, even those ones that we think are doing bad things. They have a Christ light. So I ask that you look for the Christ light in everyone that you meet. And as I always say, I guarantee you will have a better day if you find the Christ light. And now, if you would, please say our mission and vision statement with me. Centered in God, we may inspire spiritual transformation, creating a world of love, peace, and prosperity. We are an inclusive spiritual community, inspiring, awakening, and serving in love. And at this time, we come to our children's blessing. Here we honor the children in our lives, the children around the world, and of course that child within all of us. And this morning I'd like for us to just focus our attention on the children in Ukraine. Just for a moment. Thank you. And we say to them, we love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you. We accept you just the way you are. Walk in beauty. You are divine. And now, our song.
Everyone, please stand again. This song will be up here as well as in the red books in front of you.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song
Would our prayer chaplain please come forward?
I've been thinking this week about prayer. A little bit more than usual. I do try to pray often, but I've been thinking about life itself. The journey of life can be and is a prayer. And then I was wondering how I can make it my prayer. Because I've never, till I started thinking about church and stuff as an adult, I never really understood that. In fact, way into my adulthood, I still didn't understand it, so it has taken me a while. The prayer box is a symbol. But why is it a symbol? Or why do we need a symbol? We don't need a catalyst, a trigger, to get us started on prayer. No, we don't need a prayer box. We don't need a thing. We can just start. But it's easier to look at a prayer box. We know inside this prayer box that there are written prayers, prayer requests, and we've encouraged people to put them in there. But we also know from the Bible that the divine God already knows what we need. So we don't even have to ask a prayer to have the prayer answered. He says will come from that idea. Well, why do I pray then? I'm not going to steal any of Carol's thunder on this, but sure. is very spontaneous at the moment. I basically pray to get in touch with the divine. When I say Our Father, or My God, or Om, or any of the other things that we use to address the One by, I'm cluing myself in, my mind in, to the divine presence. And there's the divine presence that's always there, never really lets us down, because it's always there. But then I am connected. The key is the connection, my connection. So, Divine One, we hold these prayers up as these people connect with you. And while we ask that connection to be strong, we strengthen our own connection to the One. It is so. Amen. Amen.
And now, Beth will read Daily Word.
The daily word for today is forgive. I begin my journey of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a heavy bag of rocks I carry on my shoulders. When I drop the bag and begin to set the rocks aside one by one, I embark upon a healing journey. God is with and within me on this journey as my constant support and strength. When unforgiveness feels difficult, I need only return my attention to Spirit's constant, loving, and accepting presence within me. Reestablishing my consciousness connection brings me warm and welcome acceptance. It is an important step in the unburdening process of unforgiveness. I forgive others as well as myself, knowing each act of forgiveness increases my freedom to live a happy and fulfilling life. Bear with one another, and if anyone has a complaint against another, forgive each other just as the Lord has forgiven you. So you also must forgive.
Thank you so much, Beth. And I should mention, Beth is Reverend Carol's daughter. So I have a duo here today. And now, if you would just quiet yourselves and let's say our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
So breathe. Let's just breathe together. Taking those deep breaths. Paying attention. Even as you do that simple process, you feel your body relaxing, letting go. When you focus on your breathing, you are bringing yourself here to this now moment. Here, now. Truly the only moment there ever is. in this awareness, I open the door. I open the door of my being to my awareness. My awareness of the connection that is always there. Thank you. I am here, I am now, I am in this place, and I am one with the one. I am the light. I am the love. I am creative energy. In this moment, I am wholeness. And I reach out and embrace all those within my awareness and know wholeness with them. With them. I lift up all those in this world and maybe beyond that I have no knowledge of, but I know we are one, and I lift you. I lift you. And I hold this love. I hold this healing comfort. And I reach out to those who have no idea that they have this divine connection within them. I reach out to them. I know with that divine part of them, strengthening that, holding that. And always, as I know this, as I expand this, my own awareness continues to grow. And in this awareness, I take another deep breath, I relax, I let go, and in the silence, I am in communion with that inner self, that divine presence, in communion, in the silence, in the moment. Take another deep breath. keeping that door, that awareness open. Allowing whatever is on your heart. Just allowing, offering it up. Not asking, because the answer is already here. But saying thank you. Thank you as you, as I accept all that is here for us. We accept healing. We accept wholeness. We accept an experience of peace. And as we reach out to each other, to our community, to our country, to our globe, we touch base, we connect with all those hearts that are in this place of peace. It is powerful. And we say, thank you, Spirit, that we are channels of this peace, of this love, of this light. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen. Taking a deep breath, bringing us here. So what is prayer anyway? So we've been getting through our music, through the daily word, through Cliff's remarks. You know, prayer is so much, so many things. So when I arranged for this opportunity to speak, you know, the first thing after I got the confirmation that I was going to do this, my thought was, oh my gosh, Spirit, what am I going to talk about? Well, by the next morning, I had my answer. And you know, that's no surprise. For years, doing this every week, I was able to say, okay, Spirit, you know, what's the message? What's the topic? What's going on for this next Sunday? And you know, Dean can probably speak to this. I think most speakers can, most teachers can. What needs to happen in me is what's going to be a topic, because each one of us learns more in our preparation, in our thinking about this, than anybody possibly can. We've been doing this for hours. I've been doing it for weeks, literally, thinking about it. And how has it shifted? How has it changed? So today you're going to hear from my own personal experience. So my experience, what's so special about my experience? Well, the same thing that's special about my experience is what's special about your experience. It is our unique experience. So hopefully, as I share where I'm coming from, it'll open doors for you. It'll help you to become more aware. Okay, what is my experience? How have I come to this place? How am I open to moving to a more expanded place? You know, it's difficult. I try to let go of words like better. You know, we are where we are. We're all in the process of growing. Where I am now is not a better place than where I was. It is a different place from where I was. So I hope that I expand your curiosity in this process. I want you to go away going, what was she thinking when she said that? What was that all about? I want to do some more work. I want to do some more exploration. And that also means that this is a talk that says, take what you can and leave the rest. Hopefully, if you've been coming to Unity or Center for Spiritual Living or New Thought, you hear that occasionally. Okay, I'm going to tell you from my place of truth. I will never stand up and teach something that's not from my place of truth. But that may not be your place of truth, not in this moment. But hopefully as we are here together, as we discover when we're in class, we have an amazing class at 9:30. Discover the power within you, and the discussion that as everybody talks about where they are, how they're seeing this. So expanding your curiosity, your desire to figure out what all this is about. So most of my prayers are casual, and this kind of speaks to what Cliff may have been saying about what is my life? What is this prayer for me? So over the years, my prayers have become, oh my gosh, Spirit, what am I going to be speaking about? And then paying attention. Oh my gosh, Spirit, what's the next step? Okay, Spirit, prove it to me again one more time. Because in 40 plus years of being on this path, you know what? It's proven over and over and over again. But my humanness will say, okay, one more time. And then I also have to look back and say, what are the things I've let go of that, because I know this is how life works for me. These are the things that I have put into place, and I know that the way is prepared before me. So to look at that, what's going on with you? What is that process? And how has prayer changed for you over the years? Where did you start? Way here. So I asked for people to send me some of their prayer experiences and thinking about that process. And from one friend in Little Rock, Arkansas, who said, I grew up as an atheist. I didn't even have prayer as a child. And so his coming to a prayer process was different than mine. I grew up with, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And then God bless. God bless mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa and the dogs and the cats and, everybody, So I think about what was your prayer process? And it moved on then to the more formal, the Lord's Prayer. That was probably the big adult prayer that I learned. And what happens? We still say that Lord's Prayer. How do you make it yours? Is it something that you say from rote? Okay, we're doing it, and this is the time of the service. Are you in that going, okay, what do these words mean to me? Other formal prayers that are beautiful. You realize so much of our singing is prayers. As I bring myself into these words, the one we just did by Sibelius, he wasn't singing about the United States. He was singing about his country. And I can't quite remember whether it was Norway or one of the others, but I think it was Norway during the time of the Second World War. So here's a prayer for my land, but all the other lands. A prayer, a deep part of that. So what is prayer for me? What is prayer in my conversation out here? Unity teaches that every thought, every word has an effect out there. So as I begin to think about, is this my communication with that understanding of the allness? Is that? And all of our words have power. So am I speaking those words that are creating in my life what I want to experience? So when I first really got into this, my sense of humor went here. Think about how many jokes are so negative. So you begin to pay attention. Oh, I'm just making a joke. I'll tell you, and there was a wonderful book written about laughter and all of that, the writer went through a huge healing experience. So humor, laughter is powerful. Do not bring that negative process into your power. And you can experiment with it, but don't make it something that is meaningful to you. But this is it. Experiment with it. What is going on with you? So one of the things I didn't bring up here, it is down in my purse, is my show and tell spoon. So many of you have seen my show and tell spoon. Anybody here been to a spoon bending? Anybody here? You know, Jackie, hand me my purse. Let me dig in there. I meant to have it up here. So, years and years ago, went to a process at the church, at Unity Church, that somebody was going to teach us how to bend spoons. Really woo stuff here, right? Let me not be in front of the camera. And I am dumping out my purse to find this because it is important. So look at this. Look at this. And I'm going to pass it around. Many of you have already seen it, but many of you haven't. So we're in this process, and the person who's leading it, you know, takes about 30 minutes, and we use a pendulum, we did all this kind of stuff to say, okay, is our mind willing to accept the process of doing this? Well, some people, spoon was going like this. Others, not so much. Mine was perfectly flat. Nothing was happening. She said, well, take a break. Take a break and hold the spoon, or fork, people had different things. Hold it flat and hold it with just, here, Jackie, if you'll just hand that around, let people pass it around. Just so if something happens, you know, there's enough pressure there. So I'm standing and I'm talking to people, and all of a sudden, this spoon does this. It goes into that fold just like butter. Now, the other day, I'm at Cliff and Rebecca's. I'm having a conversation with Rebecca, and she said, I had one of those spoon bending experiences. She says, but in mine, I was with, wait for it, the military. I was sitting with a group of military people, and the speaker, the person who was doing this, was standing up in front. She said, I can't remember why I was there, but obviously this group of people had been working together for a while. But she said, the leader just stood up there and he said, okay, everybody pick up your spoon, just hold it and see what happens. Just hold it and see what happens. And Rebecca said, just like you described it, mine went like that. Mine went like that. Now what is the point? Why am I doing this? Was that just some cute trick? No. Think about what happened when the molecules in that piece of metal did something outside what we are trained to think how the world operates. Now, since that time, for me, it was several years before I ever came up here. And I've been working with that. Okay, what is that? What door got opened? A specific door that said, the universe operates differently than we think it does. And how do I make that operate? How do I use that personal experience? Now, in my life, and hopefully many of you in your life have had actual results from your prayer process. You're putting it out there to that divine energy that this will happen. Opening that door. Opening the door. So, to make that declaration, to make the statement, this will be done, this is so, this can be done. In Job, it says, thou shalt declare a thing and it will be so. What does that mean? Declare a thing. I know a lot of us declare a lot of things and you really don't want them to be so. We've also declared some things and nothing really happened. What is all that about? And I think part of it is, you know, how are we making this a two-way street? What are we doing about this? And are we expecting instant results? So one of the things, using kind of a sports analogy, you know, back in the day, a 4-minute mile was an impossibility. And then somebody did it. And from that time, and I can't remember, 60s, 70s, somewhere back in there, people have been running, it's now 3.17 seconds, something like that. 1 second at a time, 1/10 of a second sometimes at a time. If you watch the Olympics or some of these, but it continues. Now, did that happen overnight? No. Think about it, 1/10 of a second at a time, the envelope is being pushed. Again, looking at the sports and the Olympics and watching the kinds of things, the bodies, watching some of the floor exercises and things where the human body is making multiple flips up here in the air before they land on their feet. Okay, somebody made that first flip and somebody said, this can be done. I wonder, could there be two? I wonder. We see that in so many sports. Even think about football, you guys. I'm not a football fan, but my daughter is. Think about people like Tom Brady. Okay, he's pushing the envelope of how it's physically capable for him to keep moving on. And we look at things and go, oh, that man can pass the ball, and look at it, it's so simple. How many years, how many thousands of balls has that man thrown? And we begin to look at ourselves. Okay, this is a process. What things maybe have I put in motion? I can stand up here for hours. Won't do it, but I can tell you stories. I can tell you stories of things that happen in the instant. I can tell you stories that it took me 5 years looking back and going, oh wow, I could never have figured that out. So we look at that. And what's our conversation? You know, prayer is a conversation. It is not a one-way street. Okay, God, you know, what's my subject? Well, I have to listen and not say, I don't want to talk about prayer. I don't want to. Okay. Well, if I'm going to talk about prayer, what's the next step? Okay, where am I getting my information? And immediately, everything I began looking at had all kinds of leads to about prayer. Now, in this process, most of that information I did not use, but it triggered within me things I wanted to use. So we begin looking, how am I listening? How does God speak to me? What is that voice? Now, I have to tell you, only one time in my life can I ever remember hearing a physical voice. And it was a time, in the moment, I was in extreme danger. I was so fearful. I was just shivering. And the voice said, it's okay. Don't be afraid. It was like a switch. A switch turned on. That gibbering, I was fine. I was okay. I went through the situation, but I was fine. Other than that, God speaks to me in feelings. In feelings. And two of the things I'll share, I won't share the whole story, but two major things that happened to me, both were this feeling that I was supposed to be doing something I didn't want to do. One of them was leaving a place and a job and an area I absolutely loved. I loved everything about it. And this feeling said, it's time for you to move on. Well, let me tell you, every time I said no, I don't want to do that, I would get a stomach ache. I mean, in the moment, I would get a stomach ache, and it would stay there until I would go, okay, I hear you. I'll keep moving forward on this. Thank you. So when I get this feeling, I check it out. Okay, Spirit, you said I'm supposed to leave this place. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Well, I didn't ask what I was going to do. I just asked where I was going to go. Well, within a few days, I was talking to some friends down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I said, you know, I'm seriously thinking about leaving up here at Fort Ritchie in Maryland. Immediate responses, well, come down here. Come live in the apartment down in our basement. Immediate. Okay, Spirit. I guess this is the real deal because I have the place to go. And there was other things that going on and on and on. But the second one that I really didn't want to do was the voice that, the feeling that said, move back to Florida. What do you mean? I'm going to go back to Florida. Well, and how did this feeling come about? So I was going back to Florida over the holidays, Christmas. And I always enjoyed it. It's family, my kids, my parents, all of that. But I was always really, really glad to get back to wherever I was living. This particular Christmas, that was the message. I was excited. It came to me, this is the next step. I can't explain it. But it was so there, so positive, and I started talking about it. And we talked about it just a little bit upstairs, that my daughter, my mother, my dear friends were saying, what? You've been saying you're never going to move back to Florida again. I'm moving back to Florida. It felt there. But again, okay, in this case, what's the next step? Well, the Panhandle of Florida is not a hotbed for doing the kind of work that I was doing. So when it was coming closer to the time and I needed to give some notice I had 2 different contractors that I was working for. And I called the one that was working with the military and said, I'm just going to have to quit because I'm moving back to Florida. And the voice on the other side of the line says, well, how close to Herbert Air Force Base are you going to be? 10 minutes? Well, the person we have there is leaving in a couple of months. Are you available to do that? Okay, I've got my job. So you begin to say, how does this work for me? Do I pay attention to what the next steps are? And I also want to talk about the thank you process. So one of the responses was, in addition to the other things, is that thank you prayer. Well, that's my mantra. How do I go through the day? Well, in several different things, when I'm in a place, I'm going, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be able to come to Unity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As I'm driving, thank you, thank you, thank you. If there's beauty out there, I'm just going, thank you, thank you, thank you that I can be aware. So the thank you is that, thank you that I am conscious of what is bringing me joy in this moment. And then there's the flip side. Okay, now, and usually for me, it's driving in heavy, fast traffic with maybe other things going on. I'm the person who doesn't know her left hand from her right hand, And so I'm driving and I'm going, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is, thank you, that there is a power working through me. Yes, I'm the one that still is doing all of that. I'm doing the work, but this power, which is more than my conscious mind, is driving through me, or is doing whatever the other work is through me. So this is a part of knowing this prayer connection isn't something's going to reach out here and magically bless you and say, oh, here, this is handed to you. It is working through you. Pay attention to that. I'm the one that has to do the work. I'm the athlete who has to spend years running and practicing and pushing myself. I'm the scientist. Watched somebody talking about developing the rockets for SpaceX. I'm the scientist who has to look at these breakthroughs, think about these breakthroughs, of using the breakthrough as a stepping stone to the next level on here. I'm the one that has to do the work, whatever that process is. And then there's one other, I won't say one more, there's probably many, many, many more. And we can talk about this and you can tell me that. The prayer that comes upon us totally unexpectedly. And for me, that is when I have that experience. It could be with a new baby. It could be with my pet that I've loved for years. It could be going out into my garden and it's a flower. It could be listening to a piece of music. But that feeling, that intensity that says, yes, yes, oh, yes, This is so totally amazing. I am grateful. I am thankful. And this process is so intense, you're probably not even thinking those words in the moment. But that feeling, yes, this is absolutely beautiful. And you don't have to believe. You can be a total atheist. You will have that experience and know that that experience is one with this allness that is. So I want to ask you, challenge you even, to say, okay, how is this changing for me? How am I growing? How am I developing? Am I willing to experiment out there? Am I willing to try one little thing? So here's the very first thing that in prosperity classes I learned coming into Unity is a magic parking spot. Anybody here at all familiar with the magic parking spot? Is going someplace, knowing that it's probably going to be pretty busy, and saying, okay, Spirit, the perfect parking spot for me here now. And just be willing to see what happens. Just put it out there, see what happens. Now, a few years ago, I was talking to somebody working at the museum up there on top of the mountain. And she said, when she found out I was a Unity minister, because I was going up there to arrange to do a wedding up there. You know, I have always used that magic parking spot that I learned about. But she never used anything else. You know? The magic parking spot is like the bent spoon. Okay, if this works for this, am I willing to expand that? And for whatever process that is. So I invite you, I challenge you to expand your process. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Carol. What I should say for that thought-provoking or thought is prayer, for that prayer-provoking time here. Everything is a prayer. I thank you.
And with that, we are going to sing When I Pray. If everyone could please stand.
Feel my heart go deeper, my heart go
sing a song now. And it's also about prayer. This is a song that I wanted to sing last month. I actually wrote it on Easter, and it's a song about love, loss, and then hope. And so I thought it was a good song to sing in April about the hope of Jesus' resurrection and the new life. But my husband and I got hit by COVID. So that was postponed for a month. So I wrote this song 3 or 4 years ago, when a friend of mine lost his wife. And I was just hoping that this song would give him some comfort. And the inspiration behind this song came many, many years ago. In the 90s, I was going through a very, very difficult time. Has anybody here gone through the dark night of the soul? Oh, wow, a lot of you. It's very difficult. But you get through it. And now I'm here and doing so much better. But at the time, I was really struggling. I had moved to Huntsville recently, and it was just so hard. It was such a difficult transition. All of my friends and family and church were back in Maryland, and here I was in Huntsville and in the Bible Belt, and my religion was not traditional. Anyway, I was visiting a friend in upstate New York, and she lived nearby to this seminary, and it was a beautiful day like today, and I just went over to the seminary and was walking around, and it was just beautiful, and I sat down on this bench, but I just had so much despair in my heart. And so I went there because I knew it was beautiful, but also because it was a seminary, and I just prayed and prayed and prayed and just cried. Must have been at least 10 minutes just crying and praying to God, to get to this difficult period and how to get to the other side. And I remember I just, I had my head down like this, and then I sat up and I looked, and there was a butterfly on the back of my hand. And I kind of moved my hand around, and it didn't go anywhere. And this butterfly just stuck to me. This had never happened before. And it's never happened since. And I got up and I actually walked around with my friend the butterfly for about 15 minutes. And then finally I went kind of like this, and then finally the butterfly went away. And I just felt like God was speaking to me that I am with you. I am with you all the time. And it just brought so much comfort to me at that moment. So the name of the song is Butterfly, and it's kind of a sad song, but I hope that the song helps any of you who are going through a difficult time, or maybe have lost someone very close to you and are still missing them. I hope that this song can give you some comfort. Can you hear me clearly? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe I might even hold this to make sure I get it close enough. Oh, now I can. Now I can hear it. Okay. So this is Butterfly. And I forgot to test something before, so just bear with me a moment. Okay, too fast.
Became too hard and was more than I could bear. Butterfly, you've landed in my palm. I breathe the fresh air in, and my heart is filled with calm. It's time for me to go, so fly away from me, and I'll return to home. But home is not the same that it used to be. God took my love away, so very far from me. Butterfly, oh please just go away. I'll face my pain alone for another day. Butterfly, don't stay here with me. You're reminding me of who I used to be. Life was once so sweet, but then he went away. So now I only weep, and sorrow fills each day. You cling to me so strong. As if you really care. Oh, my butterfly. Are you trying to say to me that life goes on and my love is right here with me?
Debbie, thank you so much for that beautiful song. Especially butterflies during the summertime too. Perfect. Would the ushers please come forward? And please, let us say our prosperity blessing. The inexhaustible resource of spirit is equal to every demand. There is no reality in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest.
Because I believe in love, I give. Because I believe in love, I give. Because I believe in love, and love is given to me. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy, and joy is given to me.
Now let us say our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Lovingly I give, and lovingly I receive. And now for those of you online, again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you would like to donate, please go to www.unitychurchonthemountain.org, and you scroll down, there's a yellow button. Please press that. And also, as you do that, remember our Reverend Dean's message. You know, we're applying for that technology grant. So if you'd be so kind, we truly would appreciate. And please know, we appreciate all your offerings. See you next week.